Favorite meals with one of my favorite local chefs. Sarah Mogul is here telling us how to make eggs, because we all love eggs, but there seems to be one of those things that you just fail at doing.
Well, that's the thing. Everybody seems like, even the people who can't cook seem to feel like they can scramble an egg, and that's probably true, but there are ways to make it tight and like tough, and then there's ways to make it light and fluffy and a little cheesy. And the way that I like to start with my scrambled eggs is I like to use a full egg and then an egg white.
Just to make it healthier.
A little healthier, although, you know, studies have been showing that I'll have to say the Harvard School of Public Health said that the fat that comes from these eggs is great, and the choline that you get from the egg yolk is actually great for your central nervous system and brain health, which I don't know about you, but I could use every
I could use that too. And we should mention, while Sarah's mixing all this up, that she is very health conscious. Her stuff is always delicious, but it's also pretty healthy.
Thanks, Megan.
You're welcome.
So one of the keys to my fluffy scrambled eggs is a little bit of water instead of milk. I think commonly I just put a little bit, about a teaspoon of water. And then the other, I would say, trick for eggs is low and go.
Okay.
Low and go. You don't need to crank up the heat. I know people feel in the morning that they're in a rush, but really this is not going to take any more or less time. But it's going to actually create a lighter egg as the proteins don't seize up. Think about it this way. When you go into, if you're really, really hot and you go into a cold room, you immediately go like this. But if you are sort of a little more, you know, climatically acclimated, then, you know, you ease into it a little bit differently.
You just added some cheese. Any particular cheese that you like?
I like every cheese.
Every cheese. Okay.
I do actually prefer reduced fat cheeses because actually they're not as gooey and melty, and it actually maintains some of the structure of the cheese.
Okay.
So there's two different schools of thought on the when you add the cheese. My husband likes to add it as it's still a batter. I like to give it a few seconds in the pan and let it actually still remain cheese opposed to just a creamy situation. So this is cooking.
I don't know why it is. I can make scrambled eggs, but watching you make them, I'm like, mine never look this good.
Well, they will after today.
All right, what else do you have?
Okay, so the other thing that we have is we're going to do fried eggs. So I'm going to try to do what Justin couldn't do, and it's put a little sun in our life. We're going to do a sunny side up egg this morning. And so this is what it would look like when it's all perfect. But this is another situation where you want low. You want a low, steady heat. Excuse me.
Would you say that's always the case? You want a low, steady heat?
With eggs, yes.
Okay. Even if you're boiling them?
Well, yes, even then,
and
I will explain that too. It's sort of a misnomer, the boiled egg.
Okay.
Okay, so we got this going a little bit, and I'm going to break that in.
Crack it.
Crack it. There you go.
Perfect.
Yes, it is a little perfect this morning. So, so you're just going to let this sit. What you can do if you want to make sure that it's cooking without being too, you can pull it gently.
Right, that's what always happens with me.
Yep, right, and that's how you also know you have a fresh egg.
Okay.
When it does do that. If it lays too flat, you know that maybe it's time to check out your chicken in a different way.
Yeah, we've got about a minute left. Are we doing okay?
We are doing okay. I just want to show really quickly another way to get the perfect steam before you flip it over. If you put another teaspoon of water right at the side, close that up.
And that'll do it.
And that'll cook it. You can turn off the heat and let it go. And then you can also, once this cooks a little bit more, then you can flip it over and you can get that gorgeousness.
And you said the flip is no problem.
Flip is no problem.
Okay.
Okay, so now for hard-boiled eggs, what we're going to do is,
right here.
We have the egg. You cover it in cool water. You want the temperature of the water of your egg to be a little room temperature. Let it come to that point. The trick also, if you are a perfectionist and you want perfectly centered yolks, lay the eggs on their side for a couple of hours before you put them in the water. It actually works. I marked some eggs. I did an experiment. It worked. You want to put it in cool water about a knuckle, one knuckle of your finger up. Let it come just to a boil. Once it comes to a barely boil, cover it, turn off the heat, let it sit for about 12 to 15 minutes. Take it out. You're going to put it in a nice ice bath. You want to bring down the temperature quickly so you don't end up with the green egg, which is really good around, Easter, not in the morning. Right.
Now, I know that we're running out of time.
Right.
I'm just going to say, while Sarah does that, she was kind enough to give us some recipes and menus. We are going to put it all online later on this afternoon. So hang with us.
Yep.
Sarah, you're always fabulous. Where can people get a hold of you?
You can email me at sarahcooks@comcast.net, and I will talk about this technique of piping this
with the recipe,
with the recipe and some different variations of filling for your deviled eggs.
Absolutely. Well, we love it, and I don't know if you've noticed, but vultures have come into the studio.
I started to notice. It started
all of a sudden, like the meteorologist and the co-anchor in here, they don't want to help cook, but they'll help eat. Good to see you.
Thank you, Megan.
Thanks
so
for
much.
coming in. All right, we'll be right back.